Hello, welcome to the PubWorks online service request how-to video. My name is Bill Walker. So let's talk a little bit about what the online service request web application is. It's a public-facing and/or an intranet web application that is used to submit on-demand work requests to the PubWorks system. Today we'll be looking at an example of public-facing web application. So let's start by describing the page itself. If you look at the very top, you'll see a description of what the page is, and you'll also notice that the fields colored in blue are the required inputs. So the page itself is kind of split up into two sections. The first one is the input, and the second down here is for after we've actually input a request and at some period later we decide we would like to go back and check on the status. So having said that, let's go ahead and make an entry and go through the process. So to submit an online service request, we have to keep in mind that again the required inputs are in blue, and so those will all need to be filled out. The phone, address, city, state, zip, and all that is optional but can be configured to be required. Alright, so let's go ahead and do one. We're out in the public, and we notice that there's a dead animal in the highway. And we come in and fill out the request. So here the drop down, there's a dead animal, and we're going to give it a location. It is on Babbitt Lane. Alright, so we filled out the required blue inputs, and now we're going to click submit. We submit the request. At this point it's going to go out and take that input data and send it to the PubWorks desktop software, and once it's done that, we'll get a reply showing us that it has indeed got that request. Alright, and here is the reply. Dear John Q. Public, thank you for submitting your service request. Gives you an ID and shows you what you have submitted. So at this point, we can return back to the main page. We can enter another request, or after a period of time, if we want to check on that request, we can do that by coming here to the service request lookup area. And all you have to do to look anything up is enter your email that you submitted it with and click lookup. Another thing to keep in mind is that once you submit the request and you get the return page and the notification saying that data has been submitted, two other things happen as well. Two emails are created. The first email goes back to the person that submitted the email based on their email address and basically lets them know that the request has been received. The other email that gets generated will go to the person who is in charge based on the request type. So in the PubWorks software, you can assign a beach problem to a particular employee or a crew, and they will receive an email saying that there is a new request. So having done that, we've submitted our request, and sometime later we decide that we would like to check on the status. Has anything been done? So to do that, all we have to do is enter the email that we originally submitted the request with, come here to the service request lookup area, click the lookup button, and it comes back and tells us we've actually submitted 3 requests in the past. The latest one is this guy, dead animal, and the status is still open. So at this point we can again return back to the main page, submit another request, or on the other end you can go into the PubWorks software and see this request. So once a person has submitted their request from the online service request application, whether they be a member of the public or a departmental member, it ends up going to the PubWorks software where it can then be acted on. So let's take a look at that. We're going to do that. We're going to come here to service request. We're going to go to the log, and we know that it was the most recent request submitted. So we're going to go here to the end. Sure enough, there it is. There's a dead animal, and this request was submitted on 7/17. At that time, it was submitted by the online request system, and it's assigned to Tim Lake, and his department is Parks, and the location is Babbitt Lane. There's a dead deer 50 feet from the intersection. So you can see that it went from the web application into the PubWorks software where it can then be acted on. That is pretty much today's how-to video. I hope it made sense. I hope you enjoyed it. I look forward to hearing from you in the future. Thanks and have a good day.